Hello, I am Mciver. I am a student at Liberty University. I am in the class of Dr. Tomika Palmer, and today I am presenting my interpersonal communication project. First slide, communication. Stewart defines communication as the continuous, complex, collaborative process of verbal and nonverbal meaning-making. Next slide. Interpersonal communication. Good communication helps keep friendships vital and even makes a difference in casual relationships where you merely want ease. Stewart defines interpersonal communication as a subset of communication that involves people contacting others as persons that occurs daily and on many levels. Next slide. Here we talk about the 6 features of communicating. We speak about collaboration and meaning. Meaning. Humans live in a world of meaning, and communication is a process of collaborative making this meaning. Choice. All communication involves choice, some of which we actively consider and others that seem almost automatic. Culture. Culture and communication are intertwined. Ethnicity, gender, age, social class, sexual orientation, and other culture features always affect communication and are affected, and your communication is affected by them. Identities. Some of the most important meanings people collaboratively construct are identities. All communication involves negotiating identity or self. Conversation, number 5. The most influential communication events are conversation. Number 6, nexting. The most important single communication is nexting. And nexting is just a basic opportunity to be in a conversation where you're not getting your point across, but have the ability to know that during the next conversation, I'll probably be able to get my point across. Next slide. Listening. The majority of communication is listening. People slip into a passive pattern of listening and miss content. Good listeners view listening as an opportunity to gain information. They're open-minded and are totally focused on the speaker and the message. They are aware of the known biases and they avoid judging the communication before they understand it. Next slide. Overarching goals. I am aspiring to actively listen more while talking less. I want to help others enrich the quality of my life and relationships through listening. And overarching is basically the goal, the reason I'm doing all of these things. It's the big picture. Thank you. Next slide, please. This personality blend. The 4-temperament model of human behavior. And as we look at the top, we have active, outgoing, and over to the left-hand side, we have task-oriented. At the bottom, we have passive, reserved, and over to the right-hand side, we have people-oriented. And as we go through the letters, acronyms DISC, we talk about D. And just a few to cover what D covers is directing, drive, demanding, and decisive doing. For the I, we speak about inspiring, influencing, interesting in people, potentially people. C, cautious, complacent, careful, I say complacent. Okay, and then the S, we talk about steady, stable, shy, security-oriented, servant, submissive, specialist. Okay, so those are the acronyms for the D, the I, the S, and the C. Next slide, please. With our next slide, we actually talk about my personal DISC personality blend. On graph 1, we talk about how people see me. I'm seen as aspiring, submissive, perfect people person, relational and emotional, enjoy helping others, sometimes at the expense of my own loved ones, seen as sweet and nice, but less so with family and friends. Over on graph 2, we talk about how I actually see myself. I see myself as active and passive, tremendous communicator, enjoy sharing knowledge and ideas, can overshare and be talkative at times. I'm motivated by a perfectionist and attention to detail, and at work and at home. I'm more critical in private than I am in public. Next slide, please. This next slide speaks about interpersonal communication barriers. Potential barriers could be quieting my mind, sidestepping issues, perception of problems. Counteraction could be mindful listening, speaking clearly in the now and what I mean, deal with noise pollution, stereotype, and attributes. So let's talk a little bit about what all that means with our next slide. The external noise pollution, and that's the noise that would happen outside of my mind, things that I really can't do anything about, and that would be the background noise, music, machine, phones, computers, etc. Environmental conditions such as temperature or visual distractions. It could be too cold, or something could be in my visual way and it's just keeping me off task. Speech patterns, the pace or the volume of the individual, actions of people around me. Eliminate background noise, extreme temperatures, and other physical obstacles to create a better communication environment. Attentively listen to overcome speech differences and quality. So those are some examples of things that you can do to overcome some of those external noise pollutions, but in most cases you can't just move those things out of the way. So these are some things that you could do to get in good practice to overcome those. Let's look at our next slide. Our next slide speaks about internal noise. And internal noise are those things that are inside of us, our belief system, individual experiences, things we've gone through, those things that cause stress or illness or perceptions of problems. Mindful and empathic listening can help overcome these barriers. Most of this course focused on those skills, and it takes a lifetime of practice to strive towards achievement. So this is something that individuals will continue to work on even throughout their life. Next slide, please. Plan of action of my OAC. Okay, practice and employ the talk listener card, which is this card here where you have talk on one side and listener on the other side. It gives you an opportunity to just sort of, as a listener, keep in mind that I'm calm enough to hear. I don't actually have a problem. And the goal is to provide safety, to understand, and to clarify. On the other side, as the talker, you are the problem. You are the person with the problem. I am the most bothered person. I have the problem. And my goal is to share my feelings and to share my thoughts without accusing or labeling or attacking or judging. So this little card here is very instrumental as individuals are trying to work through communication issues. Identify and stop flat brain tugs, and that's actually the reason why we have trouble hearing each other, wasteful argumenting time. So we want to identify that and stop those things. Practice mindful listening and stay present in the now. Nexting, use guidelines for listening and reducing resistance. Remember that communication is ongoing and a lifetime process. That ends my presentation. Thank you.